Good evening, everyone. My name is Alyssa Delbersacek, and I am performing for you live from my music room here in Toronto. Takaranto is the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, most recently the Mississaugas of New Credit. Now, as a Métis fiddler, I came from Winnipeg region, and I actually grew up playing and teaching or learning tunes from a teacher that lives in the neighborhood here in Toronto High Park. And I'm going to start with a tune that I learned from a fiddler named Lawrence Teddyboy Hoole called Lord Macdonald. And now this Lord Macdonald's reel traveled from Scotland all the way to Winnipeg and returned back to Scotland with us. And so here today, I'm actually going to be accompanying myself with some pre-recorded loop tracks that I'm trying for the first time. So we'll see how this goes. Now, the next piece I'm going to play for you, thank you, applause, 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 of course, and I'd like to also acknowledge that I have some friends and family, of course, watching, and thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm really grateful for the City of Toronto to be doing this, supporting local artists, the GTA, Pearson Airport as well, to thank. Now, the next set of tunes I'm going to be playing for you is some animal-inspired tunes. Now, if you're at home and you might not have been moving enough lately, well, here's your chance to get up and shake. So move along with me here as we play some animal-inspired tunes. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was White-tailed Deer from Emile Spence and Migrating Canadian Geese from Sinclair Chichu. Now, those are both show tunes that would have been performed by fiddlers always solo. So that would have been sort of the old way that you would have always heard fiddle music. We're so used to hearing fiddle music backed by, guitar and maybe even drum kit, electric bass, all that sort of business. But today, other than my fiddle and maybe some loops here and there, we're going really old school here. So it's kind of a fun experience here. The next set of tunes I'm going to play for you are called The Three Sisters of Camberville. And I always like to dedicate this set of tunes to my mother's family, my matriarchal side. There were three sisters in a big family of 16 children, all Métis kids growing up in rural Manitoba. And I can always imagine these three sisters amongst all these men, amongst the other men, and really just having to hold it together. So from a line of strong women, here we go. Three Sisters of Camberville. All right. So next I'm going to play the Red River Jig for you. And this is one of the most famous of all Métis tunes. And it's said that for every Métis fiddler, there is a different version of the Red River Jig. And the way that fiddlers used to actually were able to play and amplify themselves naturally was by retuning the fiddle, which is what I just did, and I'm going to continue to retune my fiddle as we go on here. Now, so this Red River Jig, I'm going to be playing for you two different versions. One of them is from Walter Flett, and the other one is from Lawrence Teddy Boy Hoole. And they can be both heard on my CD called Oh My Voici Old Real Métis. And so get in contact with me if you'd like a hard copy of the CD, but it's also available for listening pleasure, and as this video will be later on. All right, I hope you got up to jig for that one. Next, I'm going to play for you Hay in the Loft and Six Nations Reels. These are both tunes that were also taught to me by Lauren Steady Boy Hole. Now, about 15 years ago, I received my very first Ontario Arts Council grant, and thank you to all the arts councils out there supporting artists, because we wouldn't be here without you. So the Ontario Arts Council supported me in a trip back home to Winnipeg to spend some time in Lawrence Teddy Boy Hoole's community of Ebb and Flow, Manitoba. And I had the pleasure of recording actually with Teddy Boy's younger brother, Jimmy Flex, and Jimmy's on the CD. And so these are two tunes that I learned during that trip about 15 years ago to Ebb and Flow. So here's Hay in the Loft and Six Nations Reel. Some more experimental looped Métis fiddle tracks. Next, I'm going to tune again my fiddle, and so. So these tunes are really beautiful. They're some of my favorites to play, perform. I often play them for myself when I'm not feeling well and I just need some good medicine. In fact, the first tune out of this set is called Medicine Fiddle, because Teddy Boy, when he shared this tune for me, he said that this tune for him, when the fiddle is tuned in this way, it just has such great healing powers in it. And so in this time of crisis and oddities, lean into the oddities, but also know that there are plenty of, um, of options out there in terms of healing and strength. So I send you strength and love with my medicine fiddle. All right, I've got one final tune for you here, and this one's called the Devil's Tunes, and it has this odd name because people used to dance on Saturday nights out in the country, and there we go. And they wouldn't go to church the next day, so that's the sort of the story there. So here's your last opportunity to get some movement in. If you haven't already, get your jig on with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Bonne soirée, bonne nuit à tout le monde. Thank you so much, the City of Toronto again, City Hall Live, or YYZ Live, I should say. And thanks for tuning in, and see you around.